Welcome to Becoming Your Own BFF with host Randy Haveson. Let's agree that life gives us hurdles, but how often do we turn those hurdles into walls? Randy will give you strategies to break down the walls and clear the hurdles that are in your way. The goal of the show is to help you find happiness and joy at levels you didn't even know existed. Becoming Your Own BFF starts now.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am really excited to be here with you today. I have a topic that is one of my favorite things to talk about. When I work with people in coaching, this is like one of the things that I really focus on. This is one of the things that I love for people to get in touch with. And this is something that as you build self-esteem and as you're doing your own personal growth and starting to feel better about who you are and where you fit in the world and looking at all the different facets of your life, this is the thing that is maybe the most important part of this whole journey and this whole process. And it's something that we deny for most of our lives because we feel, how are people going to respond and all that? And this is all about being genuine to who you are, being authentic to who you are. And I find so many times people put on a mask to others. You know, the old selfie face, someone takes a picture with that smile on their face, and then afterwards they just kind of sit there despondent because that's what they want the world to see, but who they really are is something completely different. But what I have found in my own journey of personal development, self-growth, all of those things, is the more work I do on this, the more genuine I become. And I stopped looking for perfection a long time ago. I stopped looking for other people's approval a long time ago. I stopped really putting a lot of energy into what other people think of me. I mean, yes, there's still people where their opinions I hold of great value, like my daughter, my family, people like that, some really close friends. It matters to me what they think about me, but I feel okay being vulnerable and being open to them and hearing their feedback. And I know that any critique that they have of me is actually for my betterment. And I'm open to hearing what other people have to say when they're in my closest circle because they know who I am. And I'm always genuine with them and just myself, no matter how goofy, no matter how silly, no matter how contemplative, no matter how sad. I can just be myself. And I love that. And what I came to realize as I was doing all this work, I really like me. And that's the goal of this. That's why this is called Becoming Your Own BFF. The whole point here is for you to start treating yourself like your own best friend rather than your own worst bully, and to allow you to be who you are without having to put on any pretense for anybody else. And there are times where 7-year-old Randy comes out to play. There are times where 64-year-old contemplative, wise Randy comes out. And a lot of times it's in between. You know, usually in my daily life, I'm usually somewhere between 35 and 45. I love to go out and play and have fun, but I know when to be serious. Well, most of the time, that's not perfect. But I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and this is an imperfect process, and I allow myself to be imperfect. And that's one of the beauties of this process, is that it's just that, it's a process. I'm never done. Building self-esteem is something that's a lifelong process. Maybe one day, probably I will never attain pure self-esteem, but I'm okay with that. Because another thing I've realized, to do things like this, doing videos and podcasts and speaking on stage, there has to be some ego there. There has to be. So I acknowledge that, I see it, but when I get on stage or when I'm here in front of you, I want to really be an example of what it is to just be genuine and be authentic with who I am. And I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, everybody, let me give you the 3 steps on how to feel better about who you are. Step 1, that's just not my style. And if you resonate with that, awesome, go for it. But that's not my style. My style is, I just want to talk to you. I would love to hear your feedback. I love reading comments and I answer them. When people write to me, I write back. And I would love to hear what I can do better. Any questions that you have about my content that you want more information on, I'm happy to address that with you. So let me know what I can do. Every day, the first thing I say when I wake up in the morning is thank you for the gift of a new day. Show me what I can do to be of service to others. Because those are the two keys, gratitude and service. And the more I'm grateful and the more I'm of service, that's who I am. So I get to be more genuine and authentic to who I am when I live a life of gratitude and service. And I want you to find that for yourself. Find the things that really make you happy, bring you joy, bring you peace and security, and make it less about what other people think and more about how you feel and think about yourself. And is there room for improvement? Of course. But your best friend is going to say, hey, you're not perfect, but that's okay. I still love you anyway. I love you for all of your faults. And that's how I feel about myself. And I just allow myself to make mistakes and go through my day, and I just do the best I can. And it works. And most days I go to bed happy. It's pretty cool. I really want that for you too, because it is so awesome when that starts to happen. And you're going to find little by little, it'll start happening in your life. And a great example of this that I like to point out, this happened years ago. When I first started my speaking career, I was speaking at conferences. And at a lot of these conferences, the participants would get evaluation sheets that they would fill out at the end of the session. Did you learn anything from this? Did you like the presenter? What was the thing you got out of it the most? What was the thing you liked the least? One of those kind of things. And people would fill it out and then give it to the person at the back of the room. And then the conference people would keep a copy because they wanted to know who to invite the next year and who really didn't knock it out of the park, and maybe they wouldn't be invited next year. And and then the other copy would be given to the presenter. So I remember every time I'd get these evaluations back, and at the beginning, it used to scare the bejesus out of me, because I would get these back. Oh my God, I hope they like it. I hope they like it. Oh, what if they didn't? And I would read the comments, and let's say there were 100 people in the room. I got 100 of them back. What would happen? And this was consistent over my entire speaking career when I was going to these conferences. No matter how seasoned I was, no matter how novice I was when I first started out, actually, it probably shifted a little bit, but pretty much it was 80 of them came back saying, wow, this was so great. I got so much out of this. It was amazing. And 15 would say, it was okay. I've heard it before. And 5 would say, oh, that sucked. I got nothing out of it. He was horrible. It didn't make sense. It's not going to be applicable to my life. And I remember I would read them and I get to those 5. I'm like, oh, they didn't like it. Oh my God, they didn't like me. Oh no. What can I do to change my talk? What can I do to make it better for them? And then over time, I realized, wait a minute, that's 5 out of 100 that didn't like it. And 15, they were like, eh. And 80, they were like, that was really awesome. Now, here's the thing I realized. All 100 people heard the exact same talk, the exact same words, the exact same inflections, the exact same hand movements or whatever I was doing, pacing in the room, writing on the board, whatever it was, everybody heard the same thing, but they had a different reaction. So is that a reflection of me, or is that a reflection of the way that they process the world around them? And I know that my message is not for everybody. You might prefer one speaker over another. You might prefer one type of music over another. I am a rock and roll heavy metal guy. But if you like R&B or hip hop, that's fine. But I don't want to sit there and listen to it for an hour. So, I would rather go to a Tool concert than Taylor Swift. Although Taylor Swift would be a fun concert to go to, but yeah. But do you see what I mean? We all resonate at a different frequency. We all enjoy different things. It doesn't mean that I'm right and they're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're right and I'm wrong. It just means that we have different ways of perceiving and defining the reality that is around us. And the cool part is we get to choose how we define our reality. If you're not happy with what the world is giving you, then make some adjustments within yourself in order for the world and the universe to give you more gifts. I have found that when I focus on gratitude and service, the universe just keep giving me these amazing gifts. And I keep getting them all the time. With this move that's coming up in San Diego, I keep getting all these different amazing opportunities that are flooding into me right now. And I'm not even there yet. It's blowing me away. And I am so grateful for it. And I can't wait to get there. And I still have a lot of work to do before I move. And again, I'm still scared and nervous and anxious, sad, happy, excited. But you know what I am mostly? Curious. And I have found that one of the things that combats fear more than anything else, because when I think about I'm moving to San Diego. I'm moving into a new apartment, back to a place I haven't lived in for 15 years. What's it going to be like? How am I going to make friends? Blah, 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 all those things that go through my head. And fear can go up. But when I replace fear with, I'm really curious to know how this is going to go. Well, I'm curious to know, where are my friends going to come from? Are they going to be living in my apartment building? Are they going to come from the gym I'm going to belong to? Are they going to come from, I want to join like a Tai Chi or a Qigong type thing. Maybe I'll meet people there. The grocery store, Trader Joe's, who knows? So I'm curious to know where I'm going to find my new tribe in San Diego. I'm curious to know which one of these opportunities are really going to hit and are really going to start to take off. Whether it's, my new programs with the Transformation Radio Network, whether it's my coaching practice, whether it's my book sales, whether it's doing marketing for this office that I've been talking to, who knows? And I'm really curious to see how that's going to go. And if you just look at any situation in your life and replace the fear with curiosity, watch how the feelings shift. Because now all of a sudden I'm excited. I'm expectant. It's like, ooh, what's this going to be like? This is going to be really awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see how things are going to unfold there. And I'm curious. And now all of a sudden I'm not as afraid anymore. So use that. And, speaking of fear, also a combatant to fear is to look at something. And I talk to all my coaching clients. I talk to a lot of people about this actually. When they say they're afraid to step into a new situation, I'll say, tell me what your body's physiological response is to fear. And it is heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, senses are more acute, maybe a little sweat on your lip or on your forehead. That's the body's response to fear. Now, what is your physiological response to excitement? Think about being excited about something. What's the physiological response? Heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, senses become more acute, maybe a little sweat on your brow or on your upper lip. It's the same. Your body's response to fear or excitement are exactly the same. So the only way your brain knows the difference, it's what you choose to call it. Do you want to call it fear or do you want to call it excitement? If you say, oh my God, this is really freaking me out, standing on stage in front of 1,000 people, oh my God, I'm so scared. Or I get to speak to 1,000 people today. I am so excited. I'm going to be moving to San Diego. Oh my God, I am so scared. I'm moving to San Diego. I am so excited. I can choose to call it either one. The choice, mine. Not anything else. Nobody else's influence comes into play on that. Now I can say to my friend, I'm really excited about this. And like, oh my God, that's so cool. I'm so excited for you. Or God, this is really freaking me out. And they'll say, oh, it's okay. Think about all the things you have to look forward to. But I would rather just start that within myself. I am excited. Now, I see the fear, I honor the fear, I value the fear. Fear is a very important part of who we are, but it's important not to let fear kind of take over in a situation because then things can kind of feel out of control. So it's important to honor and value that while really getting into the feeling that you choose to feel, which for me is excitement. And it's funny as I'm looking at this, and one of my favorite pictures, is that one, the wolf, the black wolf that's on the wall. And the reason why I love that poster, it reminds me of the story about, I don't know if you've heard this before. Let me tell you, if you have heard it, I'm going to add something at the end that maybe you haven't heard. This is the story of the white wolf and the black wolf. And the story goes like this. One day, a little boy wakes up terrified from a horrible dream that he had. And he went into the other room and his grandfather was there. And he said, Grandfather, I just had this horrible dream. And the grandfather said, what was it? He said, I had this dream that there was this white wolf and a black wolf, and they were battling each other. And it was a horrible battle. And they were tearing at each other and biting each other. It was so scary. It was horrible. And what does it mean? And the grandfather said, you had the white wolf and black wolf dream. Interesting. Here's what it means. The white wolf and the black wolf represent two parts of you. The white wolf represents love and acceptance and tolerance and being true to yourself and who you are and all the good things that are offered in the universe. The black wolf is filled with anger and sadness and hurt and despair and all the negative things that are happening in the world. And they're constantly battling with each other. And there are two sides within yourself that keep battling. And they battle throughout your entire life. And the boy says, but grandfather, which wolf wins? And the grandfather said, whichever one you feed. So you get to choose which one you feed. And here's the second part of that story that a lot of people don't know. And then the grandfather says, but one thing to be aware of, never starve the black wolf. A starving animal gets more vicious and more aggressive and lashes out more intensely. So honor the black wolf, realize it has a purpose, and it will always be a part of your reality. But just make sure you feed the white wolf more than you feed the black wolf. Love that story. And that's how life is. You get to choose your path. You get to choose which program you listen to. You get to choose which book you read. You get to choose. I hear people say this all the time. I'm bored. How could you possibly be bored? I don't get that. Boredom is a tool of the ego. When you have self-esteem, boredom is non-existent. I have not been bored in decades. Never. I have never been bored. There's always something I can do. I can read a book. I can watch YouTube videos. I can watch TV, put on a movie, put on a show. There's a new documentary I'm watching right now on Prime Video. It's called Heal. I am learning so much from that. It has been awesome. So there's so many things you can do. Go for a walk, go for a drive, go shopping, even if you're not going to buy anything. Is there something at the grocery store that you need? Go get it. There's always something to do. Being bored is like giving up. It's like, oh, I'm bored. And you know what? The universe is not here to entertain you. That's not the universe's job. You need to find ways to entertain yourself. And when you feel better about who you are, raise your self-esteem, become more genuine to who you are and where you fit in the world, and allow yourself to be who you are in all your glory, in all of your silliness, in all of your seriousness, in your happiness and your sadness, in your despair and in your excitement. Let yourself be who you are. Enjoy all the gifts that life has to offer. Live with gratitude. Find ways to be of service to others. And the gifts are endless. They're boundless. And I've lived this for so long now. And that's why I'm here, because I want to teach you how to do it too. And if you're not resonating with my message, find a message that does resonate with you. I had someone tell me a few years ago, they said, I love your podcast. I love listening to it. I listen to all these other people and your message resonates with me more than, and named a few other people. And I was like, wow, thank you. Said, yeah, there's just something about you. I don't know what it is, but I really love your message. And that's awesome. And I'm very humbled by that. So find the people that work for you. And if it's not me, don't give up. Go find someone else. Find someone where you really do resonate at their frequency. It's kind of like when you find two people that harmonize really well, it just sounds magical. That's what you want to find. Find the messages that really resonate with you. As I was reading a bunch of books, people were like, "Oh, you got to read this one." And I would read it and I get like 3 pages into it. It's like, no, I don't like this. And I'd pick up another one and go, "Oh, yes." So find the messages that work for you because we're all saying the same thing. Believe in yourself. You can do this. If you want to make changes in your life, they're all possible. One of the things I say all the time, the number one trick is to stay out of your own way. Life gives us hurdles, but we have a tendency to turn those hurdles into walls. And if you can learn how to turn the walls back into hurdles where they belong, you're going to be able to get over them a lot faster. Because every time life gives us a hurdle, it also gives us the tools necessary to get over the hurdle. But when we turn the hurdle into a wall, all of a sudden we have the tools to get over the hurdle, but we slam into the wall. So now it's time to turn your walls into hurdles. And there are a number of ways to do that. I put a bunch of them in my book. I talk about this a lot in my book. So if this resonates with you, get the book, Becoming Your Own BFF, and hopefully that's going to help you out. If you really want to dive into it, I'm open for coaching. I'm taking a limited amount of clients. But if you would like to do some coaching with me, I'd love to help you out. I'm here to be of service. That's what it's all about. And if you're resonating with the message, I'm going to be doing these every week, and I'm so excited to be on this schedule and doing these for you. And to me, to be totally honest, it doesn't really matter to me if there's one person watching or a million people watching, if that one person is getting the message and they change their lives. And they really look at it and go, wow, you know what? I do turn my hurdles into walls. I want to learn how to not do that. If even one person gets it, then I'm batting 1,000. So I hope that person is you because change is possible. Absolute shit, man. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I worked my butt off, and I find a lot of people aren't willing to do the work. They're like afraid to walk through that door because they're afraid of the demons that are in front of them. They're afraid of looking and taking responsibility and really owning all of that old stuff. But it's not as scary as it seems. It might have a large, horrific, dragon-sized yell, but when we look at it, it's just this little troll type thing with a big voice. I mean, when I was looking at all my fears and insecurities and all that stuff, it seemed overwhelming and huge. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And I dealt with it and I walked through it. And here I am on the other side. And it's pretty cool. So I hope that for you too. So thank you for tuning in today. I look forward to having you here again next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but I'll figure it out. Because again, I want it to be genuine. I'm not one of those people. I've never scripted one of these. I've never, thought about it way ahead of time. It's kind of on the day. An hour ago. Okay, here, check this out. An hour ago, I was sitting there and I said to my daughter, "What should I talk about today?" And she said, "How about change?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk about change. That's going to be good. Ooh, that's really relevant in my life right now." So I thought, what did I talk about last week? So I looked, and last week it was all about change. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick a different topic. And then I thought, oh, let's just be genuine. Oh, I'm going to talk about being genuine and authentic. So I don't know what next week's topic is going to be, but I'll figure it out. If there's something that you would like me to speak about, something related to becoming your own best friend, related to changes and accepting who you are for all of your greatness and all of your deficits, let me know because I want to be flexible and give you information that you want. So let me know how I can help out. So I wish you well. Have a great week. Have an awesome weekend. And hopefully I'll see you here next week. All right. You take care. Bye.
You've been listening to Becoming Your Own BFF with your host, Randy Haveson. Tune in every Friday at 1:30 Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com for more tools to stop being your own worst bully and start becoming your own best friend. Learn essential skills to boost self-esteem and overcome the devastating effects of ego. By focusing on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, you can start listening to your best friend voice rather than your inner bully voice. For more information, visit randyhaveson.com.